A great friend of this show, Senator Nina Turner, is running for Ohio's 11th Congressional District. The former Ohio State Senator released her official announcement earlier this month. Let's take a look at that.
I am a daughter of Cleveland. I was raised in this community by parents who worked very hard. My mother was a nurse's aide, my father a truck driver. I can relate to people who live in the 11th Congressional District from all walks of life. I am you. As a Cleveland City Councilwoman, I worked to secure housing for seniors. As an Ohio State Senator, I stood with working families and labor to maintain collective bargaining rights. I led the effort to create the Ohio Task Force on Community and Police Relations. I know that the struggle is real. I want to serve as your next Congresswoman because I believe that everyone deserves a good job, health care, and our children deserve to be educated from pre-K to college. I will go to Congress to help our community recover from the coronavirus, including helping small businesses and those who have been hardest hit. We are going to do great things together. Let's get to work. I am Nina Turner, and I'm running for Congress.
Former national co-chair for the Bernie Sanders campaign, former Ohio State Senator, host of the Hello Somebody podcast, and congressional candidate Nina Turner joins me now to talk about her run. It's so great to see you, Nina.
You as well, Crystal, and happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays to you and your family. We've been friends for a long time, so I'm not going to pretend to be neutral in this race. Just give us an update on how things are going so far, what the timeline is, and what ultimately made you jump into this race to start with.
Things are going very well, Crystal, just by the grace of God and a lot of sweat equity over the years. I am really humbled by the level of support, outpouring of support that I'm getting from both my community and all across this country. I believe that so many people understand it is so important to have voices in Congress that amplify their needs. So whether it's the need for good paying jobs, the need to make sure that they live in safe and vibrant communities, the need to deal with the climate chaos that is impacting our country and the world, I should say, or the with racial injustice. This campaign is a reflection of those needs. And so people are really excited, Crystal, as I am, for the opportunity to be able to take my service to the next level. As you know, I always call myself a hell-raising humanitarian. That's who I am, and that will never stop. I am going to Congress to serve the needs of the people and looking forward to being able to do so.
And so just tell people a little bit about who are your opponents in the race and what is the actual date of this election. This is a seat, obviously the Democratic primary will probably determine who ultimately gets the seat's very strong blue district. So when is that primary date and who are your top competitors?
We're unsure. Election, the governor gets to set the date, but cannot set a date until there is an official vacancy, and there is not. Congratulations to Congresswoman Marcia Fudge for the nomination that she received from President-elect Joe Biden. But until that actually happens, there's not a vacancy, and so the governor cannot set a date. So that's what we're waiting for, a special election date. I would imagine that this election will probably happen sometime in either April or May. In terms of my competition, there are people jumping into the race, and that is a beautiful thing. I do not hail from the school of thought that says stop into a race. People who want to run should be able to run. And so there'll be a host of people from currently elected officials to formerly elected officials to probably some activists who will actually run for this seat.
And so talk to us about your philosophy on if you do make it ultimately to Congress. There's been a debate I'm sure you're aware of playing out right now about whether progressives should withhold their vote for Nancy Pelosi for Speaker in exchange for some concession. One thing that's been floated is a Medicare for All floor vote. What's your view on that debate, and how does that relate to how you think about your relationship with Democratic leadership in the House?
Yeah, I'll be unapologetically for the people. That's not going to change. I'm not going to change who I am. The pain is so deep, Crystal, and the COVID, the pandemic, has definitely revealed the fissures in a system that was not working before the pandemic, and it is especially not working now. As you know, and your viewers know, I have been a staunch supporter of making sure of fighting for universal health care. We are the only industrialized nation on the face of the earth that does not have it. The pandemic further revealed that the modification of healthcare just does not work. It is absolutely immoral to have so many people suffering and adding to the list because of the pandemic, and not to have the type of leadership that is ready, willing, and able to throw all convention, everything that they may have believed before the pandemic, out the window because of the level of suffering. And so I have been on record, in ways that animate that suffering. I had a boss, Crystal, one time that used to say, if your hair is on fire, you ought to act like your hair is on fire. Well, I act like my hair is on fire most of the time because I do understand and feel the pain that people are feeling. And that Congress and the presidency, that is the biggest. I mean, you have the biggest stick on the federal level government. And how is it that we can bail out Wall Street, but we can't make a down payment on Main Street? Something is wrong with that, Crystal. And I am going to Congress to continue to amplify that. Yes, universal health care, a must, not a luxury, a necessity. Making sure people have a good paying jobs, $15 an hour minimum wage. And as you and I both know, if income had kept up with inflation, if hourly wages had kept up with inflation, we would be well over the $20 an hour mark here. We have got to do a new thing. There is a demand for a paradigm shift so that the least among us, the poor, the working poor, and the barely middle class, have more than a fight in this country. I am going to Congress to amplify that without apology. That's what I'm going to do.
And so does that include using tools like, the speaker vote, because the margin is so narrow in the House, progressives and, strong progressives like the squad, like incoming members Jamal Bowman, Cori Bush, Mondaire Jones, and others combined together have a lot of potential leverage and power here to extract some potential concessions. Do you think that using tools like being willing to withhold your vote for Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, should be on the table?
All tools should be on the table, Crystal. And I definitely lean to the wisdom of my colleagues who are, when it comes to the level of suffering that people are feeling, I mean, real pain, eviction, being food insecure. People in my district experience that just like other people all across this country. This is real. This is no time to play games. This is time to use the full force and weight of the people's power to serve them. This is about service. And so often people forget that those positions are about service, that when we are blessed enough to hold that power for however long we hold it, we are holding the people's power and should always do their bidding. And that measure should be based on those who are suffering the most. So all tools should be on the table.
And Senator Nina Turner, where can people find out more about your campaign?
Definitely go to ninaturner.com. Please support, volunteer your time, treasure, talent is definitely necessary. This is a people power campaign, Crystal Ball, and I am forever humbled by the experiences that I've been able to have community to community, carrying my community with me everywhere that I have gone. And this is the moment to seize the opportunity for me to be able to serve in Congress and bring a voice that, in the words of Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm, is unbought and unbossed. I am in service to the people.
Nina, it's always great to see you. Happy holidays to you and your family.
Happy holidays to you and your family as well, Crystal, and your viewers.
Thank you. Coming up, Amazon has a new lobbyist with some close ties to the Biden administration. We're going to talk about that when Rising returns.